afternoon and a very warm welcome to Borders Rugby TV. This afternoon we're down at Riverside Park where Jedforest welcome fellow Borderers Kelso. Now you might be forgiven for thinking that it would be a walk in the park for Kelso this afternoon given Jed's form this season. However, as we know, border derbies are never easy and Kelso also have the added pressure of needing to win today to keep that fourth place in the league. As it stands right now in the Premiership, Kelso, Heriot, Edinburgh Accies and Musselburgh are all still within a fighting chance of getting that very last playoff place. So it should be an exciting afternoon of rugby, and here to take you through today's match, it's Dale Clancy and Purdie.
And Dwayne Patterson is going to be the player to get us underway here. The player who's been instrumental for the Kelso so far this season, and he gets play underway and we're off and running in a vital game for Kelso against their near rivals Jedforest, and they'll be hoping to upset the odds, get their first victory in almost 13 months and upset the apple cart and stop Kelso getting into the playoff positions. It's Jed who enjoy early territory. They get the ball in hand. Clark Skeldon is trying to break free from his own 22. Mark Glenn has to get there quickly to dispatch the ball, this time to Gregor Law, who's charging forward. Takes a couple of Kelso players to bring him down. Deep to Dom Buckley, right-footed kick is charged down, and the Kelso players, in particular Cammy Brown, retreat back to get the ball, and Murray Hastie then spills it to Barber, who's had an impressive season. Dwayne Patterson spots some space and just stabs the ball downfield, and that's a good return from Kelso. The man of two first names, Harvey Keith, to throw into the line out. Just on the 22, throws it to the tail. Clark Skeldon is hoisted high and is brought down, and the Jed players now congregate at them all. It starts to drive forward. It's been repelled somewhat by this Kelso side, and Buckley now punts it downfield, not finding touch, and it's been well gathered there by James Thompson. He spills the ball in field to Archie Barber, who sizes up his options, thinks he sees some space back there, but that space has been covered by Lewis Young, making his 228th appearance in Jedforest colours. He returns it downfield to Dwayne Patterson. He wants to go on a mazy run and just wrong foots at Lewis Young, but the Jedforest players get back to try and protect this situation, and Kelso are now up towards the halfway line. Andy Tate travels with the ball and then finds Knox, but the referee is going to bring it back for a penalty. Yeah, they've not had the best success rate with the kick, 61 tries this season but only 36 conversions, so they have left a lot of points out on the field, but they'll be hoping that conversions are not going to come into it this afternoon, as Robson just catapults himself into the Jedforest defence, and round the corner charges a Terry Logan, who is cowped onto the ground, and the ball spills free, and it's then returned downfield, and that's a raking kick from Young. And there's Lewis Young again, and Barber manages to get the ball in field, and now some great footwork centre field from Tweedy. He does well to evade the first couple of challenges. Tate gives it to Patterson, tries to manipulate that 2-on-1. Now he's through, and now it's a 1-on-1. He's got some support there, and it's James Thompson, and he's going to scamper in for the first score, but it's all about Dwayne Patterson's footwork to manipulate that situation. Big left-handed fend, and they made that 2-on-1 situation down the stand side, and he could just release James Thompson for the opening try here, and it's his second try this season, it's his 12th game, but it's going to be an important one if Kelso want to get the bonus point victory that they so crave.
Yeah, they look so accomplished in possession, Kelso, and that'll be a big confidence boost for James Thompson. He missed a bit of an open goal with one last weekend, but that's him up and running this afternoon. But you're absolutely right. It's the finishing of the good work from Dwayne Patterson at this level. He's just a Rolls Royce of a player.
Slowly taking his time, sizing up the sticks here. Right-footed kick. It'll angle itself away, but it's looking good off the tee, and the flags are hoisted high, and it's a full complement of 7 points for Kelso. That black and white wall is finding it very hard to breach so far. The kick from Buckley, and that's a raking kick as well. It's just gone over the head of Barber, and it's going to dribble out 5 metres away from the Kelso line. And Buckley has just sized that one up and just curled it round. And that's a brilliant kick from Buckley.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the AR to signal what way this line is going to go. Because where was Buckley when he kicked that? Was he in?
I think they went back into their own half. I think the last phase of play, I think, was just inside the Kelso half.
It's a Kelso line, but nonetheless, Dale, you're absolutely right. That was a beauty from Buckley. His first of the afternoon was charged down, but he's made up for it there. I see he's doing a Bundy a key today as well with no number in his back.
Yes, he certainly is, just to try and keep us on our toes. But unfortunately for Dom Buckley, we know him pretty well, so he's certainly not going to be a shrinking violet in this game. Kelso successful from that line out. They're trying to just steady the ship and go through their repertoire to exit inside of their own 22. Woodcock, who's been an impressive player for Kelso this season, tucks the ball underneath his arm and has a little 40 forward. They're about 8 metres away from their own try line, Kelso, at the moment, and trying to use a bit of the heavy artillery to secure the platform, but Knox is almost stripped on the ground and Woodcock has to sweep up on the deck. But Kelso eventually managed to manipulate the penalty. Having a quick chat with one of the Kelso fans just before the start of this game about Bruce McNeil, saying he can't go on forever, but he looks as fit as he ever has.
He does, doesn't he?
He does, he definitely does. He's played 15, got 11 tries so far this season. You won't be surprised he's got 4 yellows as well, but he's now just in the heart of this driving maul, which is charging forward. It splinters away and the maul makes its way closer towards that 22. Tate does well to shovel the ball to Hastie. Hastie gives it to Patterson. Kelso are stretching the field here, get it across to Tweedy. He's looking to have a little bite at this Jed defence, but gets up towards the 22. Tate does well to get over and dispatch the ball to Woodcock. He goes inside the first defender. It takes another couple to bring him down. Kelso now inside the 22. Andy Tate goes against the grain. He tries to spill the ball to Tweedy again, who does well to try and keep it in. And Kelso now having to try and do well to keep the ball alive. James Thompson now with the ball in hand. He takes the ball into contact and the referee gives the penalty.
I can't reward you because he lies all over the ball.
Throw into the line out. Knox finds Brown. Brown's brought down. The maul then looks to form, but Brown has to pirouette out of road, but he goes into trouble because the referee signalled the penalty to Jedforest for crossing there. A little bit of a mix-up.
The ball carrier when he turns around at the front.
A little bit of a mix-up at that line out there for Kelso, and it's an easy out this time for Jed.
Yeah, and it's a lettle for Jed there because you'd have fancied Kelso probably knocks at the tiller of that one. There's every chance he would have flopped over. So yeah, Jed have got away with one there, and they've managed to get a bit of territory from the relieving kick downfield. It's not a bad kick actually, down from their own line pretty much to about the 10 metre line, so their first real chance of note from which to launch their own attack.
It was a scruffy kick from Buckley, but it made some good distance, and that's exactly what Jedforest will be wanting as they throw into this line out. And Brown is up like a salmon and just flaps that back, and then Hastie left-footed kick stabs it in the air, and this is going to be a challenging one for Fotheringham to gather. He does a good job. I think that's Robert Hogg who's now on for Jedforest. It looked like he made a good run, good ground there, and now it's a Kelso ball. They're charging forward now. Frankie Robson with ball in hand. Andy Tate thinks he's spotted some space in behind, just stabs it over the head of Lewis Young, who's having to scamper back towards his own goal line. He's got Barber and he's got Thompson for company, but dots the ball down. Scrum comes together, and second time of asking. Tate rolls into the tunnel, it squeezes forward again, perhaps a little bit easier this time, but grounds to a halt, so it's been picked up at the tail by Brown. He's on his skates now as well as the ball filters across to Barber, and he splinters through, dives over the line, and it's a first phase try for Kelso. And the work rate off the ball was asking loads of questions of this Jedforest defence, and then Archie Barber was the player who could just hair in for his 7th try of this Premiership season. He's played 17 games and he has been a real find for this Kelso side.
Yeah, young Barber, I believe he works really hard at his game from what I've heard, and he gets better and better every week, and he probably gets a wee bit bigger and bigger every week as well. He's starting to fill out, but he's still got that pace, and he showed it there.
21 minutes gone. And now the right-footed kicking attempt off the tee from Patterson. Slow staggered run up, a soft stroke with that right leg, and the flags are up this time. Buckley houts it into the sky, and Brown waits underneath and casually takes it, a little step off his feet, and he's a player who's adjusting to life in the back row, and he's doing it with ease as Hastie looks to try and kick clear. Buckley was breathing down his neck, but the ricocheted ball ends up in the hands of Barber, then Patterson, then the kick downfield, and Young is having to get back, and he's under a lot of pressure from Patterson and Woodcock and Thompson, who are there. And Jedforest are going to have to do a good job to try and recycle themselves and get back into a position where they can protect this ball. They do well initially. It's the charge forward from Robbie Thompson, a towering player. He just rides the challenge and sets up the platform. Glenn gives it to Fotheringham, and off the deck. That's a beautiful ball. It splinters this defence for probably the first time of this game as Young looks to break free. He's up to the halfway line now, and Glenn travels with the ball. He's asking questions of this Jedforest, this Kelso defence. The Jedforest scrum half is. Wardrop gives the ball to Buckley, and now it's swashbuckling moving now from this Jed backs as Young links up with Hogg. He's got some support inside. He's got Shearer Gibb. It was almost behind him, but Shearer Gibb is going to pin back the lugs, and Jedforest replies straight away, and what a try that was. It was great play, and it all started from deep inside the Jedforest half with that offload. And Robin, you can take it from here.
Oh yeah, what a wonderful try. You won't see many better than that this afternoon, this weekend, that's for sure. Robbie Shearer Gibb finished it off, but there were numerous contributions in there. Dom Buckley, Mark Glenn a couple of times, Young was involved as well, and that'll give Jed a great boost for the rest of this game, because it's the first time they've showed any real attacking intent, and they carved Kelso open.
Yeah, it was the offload there, but I do think
Fotheringham, yeah.
Yeah, but you mentioned Buckley there, sorry. It was almost like he just went, I just want to take this, I want to just have the ball. He ghosted him behind the ruck, just took the ball in a position and was able just to spread the pitch, and after that it was good support and play from the Jedforest backs. And Buckley, the aforementioned fly half, no number on his back, is going to take the conversion attempt on the 22, right-footed kick towards the uprights here, and the flags go up, and now it's a 7-point game. The ex-Kelso player gets the 2 points, and he was perhaps instrumental in getting that try for Jedforest. And now 25 minutes gone here, it's Jedforest 7, Kelso 14, and it's a flat Kelso back line. It's almost a defensive looking Kelso back line, but it's not going to be defensive at all, because the ball is now in the hands of Patterson, and it's a flat ball to Barber, and he trips over his own shoelaces because he was straight through there, and it was just a matter of footwork to try and get over the try line, but it's been recycled well. Cammy Brown then Hare's back inside and looks to try and break free of the Jedforest clutches. Tate, ball in hand, gives it to Thompson. He pirouettes out of trouble. He's got a chance for an offload, not going to need it because he's over for a try, and Hugh Thompson gets the score, and it's an instant reply from Kelso, and they stretch their lead here. 7 points to 19 they lead.
Ewan Thompson take a bow. He there'll be few more improved players in the club game than him this season. He stepped up from National 2 Berwick, and he now looks to the manner born, as I said to him last week, man of the match against Curry. Finished that one beautifully.
Replacement, as we say, Angus McGregor on. I think it looks like perhaps is it Grant Shields who's departed. I'm just trying to scan the part quickly from the restart and see if Grant Shields is still on the pitch. It doesn't look like he is, as the ball's passed back to Murray Hasty. He kicks it high into the sky, and I think that Kelso are just wanting to try and keep this ball in play. Mark Glenn was underneath that. He gives the ball to Lewis Young, and Lewis Young is straight through. He's just palmed off the first defender, then goes through a couple of challenges, rolls over the ball inside of the Kelso 22. It's been plucked up by Hogg again. He gives it to Wardrop, and Wardrop is then tackled inside the Kelso territory. Skeldon out the back to Buckley. Buckley throws an outrageous dummy, and then he is shackled by Woodcock. Glenn gets to the breakdown. He then passes back to the right hand side to Gregor Young, who has to throw a dummy this side because of the flatness of his supporting players. The ball has been presented back again brilliantly from the experienced outside centre. It's then broke free from the ruck. Skeldon carried forward. It just came out at a rate of knots, and when it's looked to be gathered by the Jedforest side, they've knocked on, and then they've mouthed back, and they've conceded the penalty. Ball plucked up at the tail from Bruce McNeil at the base of that scrum. He's went laterally across the pitch, and it allows Tate to give the ball to the replacement there, Angus McGregor. He carries forward and he makes a good 5 yards, and then Logan, who's just been catapulted into contact there. It was brilliant, but the referee is flashing a yellow card, and it looks like there's going to be a sin bin there for one of the Jedforest players, and I'm trying to figure out, still can't see who's been asked to leave.
Fotheringham, possibly.
I think it perhaps is. He's looking a bit perplexed in front of the dugout area, but he's not got far to travel because he just has to take a couple of steps. He's now sitting down, but it is Ben Fotheringham. It's going to be a throw into the line out.
And it's all over at Golden Acre, and Hawks have beaten Heriot's 19 points to 10.
Wow, that is 19 points to 10, so no points for Heriot in that game. It means that there's a 2-point cushion between the sides as we speak. So if Kelso get the victory, they've nailed down 4th place, and they'll be playing Hoyk in the playoffs.
With a game to go, and who would have seen that? Even at the start of today, all the smart money was on Heriot's there at home.
Especially after the game last week against Hoyk, I thought that was a game they potentially could have, or maybe should have won in the end. But Kelso, the job's not done for them, and Terry Logan knows that because he's just travelled a few metres, and there's a little bit of afters here on the deck. Clark Skeldon is having a bit on the ground. I don't know who that is, it's Hugh Knox.
Keith Melbourne literally just deliberately pulled a Jed player's shirt right up over their head and wandered away with an ear-to-ear grin on his face. That's about the extent of what you get nowadays.
He was on the ground. I think that there's going to be a job here for the other assistant referee to be involved, and John Smith is just asking the players just to get out of the road.
Lads, keep going.
And then he's going to be having a little chat. Frankie Robson's there quickly waiting to get the play back underway, back to Patterson, but the match officials are going to have a conversation here. So just a reminder of an update of that result. If you're just joining us, as Heriots have been beaten at Goldenacre by Glasgow Hawks, 10 points to 19. And I'm not Rachel Riley, but I can do the maths that there's no bonus points for Heriots, so the 2-point cushion. And Kelso now hold all the cards, and fourth place is theirs to lose.
Understand everybody wants to play rugby, it's a border derby and tensions are high. Discipline has to be better across the field, alright? Neither of us, well neither of the three of us have got any foul play, so we'll restart scrum white ball. You need to show better leadership as a captain. Back you go.
I think that's a wise call from the match official to perhaps just lay his cards out and say that let's make sure this doesn't boil over. Let's keep it as a rugby match, because there's the danger that it can become a bit disjointed, and for the neutral and for those watching on that want to watch a game of rugby, you know, it can perhaps become a little bit unsavoury.
Yeah, it's just getting a wee bit spicy out there. It's Jed v Kelso at the end of the day. First time at Riverside in the top division for over 20 years, so you'd kind of expect nothing less, but he's done pretty well there, the referee, just to keep a lid on it. He doesn't want to be flashing too many more cards.
The scrums, the respective scrums, just join each other on the halfway line. The Jed players with the Wardrop's right knee, heavily strapped, is just planted on the halfway line, now raises as the scrums get ready to lock horns. Early engagement there from Kelso, so it's going to be a free kick to Jedforest. And there's a little bit of afters there as well. Bruce McNeil pretends he's going on amazing, but I think he knows fine well that the free kick was going Jedforest's way. Maybe buying his teammates some time, but Robert Hogg now has taken the quick free kick, and he runs laterally across the park. He palms off Woodcock and then offloads the ball to Gregor Young. There's a bit of a throwback of a partnership there from years gone by. Young and Hogg linking up in the centres for Jedforest. Glenn now tips the ball on to David Campbell. He's challenged on the 10-metre line. Glenn passes back to Buckley. He tries to stab the ball over, but Terry Logan is there. He didn't really get much higher than about 6 feet there from Dom Buckley, so it was easy to gather, but the penalty was coming away for the home side. And another chance to kick downfield, but Jedforest are doing pretty well with 14 men. Buckley sizes this one up. And last look at the posts. And then he takes a step back, right foot planted, then he plants the left and he strokes it with the right-footed punt there, and it just goes to the left-hand side of those uprights. And the referee tells us that that's the last play of the first half, and perhaps Jedforest knew that, and knew that if they could get 3 points and squeeze down the tunnel 9 points behind, they can make a fist of it in the second half. But they're going to start the second half still with 14 men, as Skeldon and McNeil have a conversation with the match officials as they all depart down the tunnel. But it has been an entertaining first half, you've got to say. But they go down the tunnel here at Riverside Park, with Kelso looking to secure fourth place in the playoffs. They currently lead at Riverside Park. It's Jedforest 7, Kelso 19. Don Buckley gets the second half underway and just kicks it straight to Murray Woodcock, who does well to gather and will scamper clear of his 22-metre line. I can see a replacement there for Kelso, Cammy Thompson, where number 19 is on the field of play as Tate passes back to Hasty. He's spotted some space over there, but it's been well plugged by Robert Hogg, who passes back to Lewis Young, who has to control it with his foot. Hogg wraps round to offer some support, but it's been stabbed through to Barber, and now ball in two hands. Sizing up his options, looks to stab it downfield, but it's been touched in flight, and Don Buckley is there waiting, looks to just chip it over the top, but loitering in behind is Andy Tate, doing well to sweep up. So Kelso make a territorial gain from that little bit of aerial tennis here. Hasty, acting as auxiliary scrum half, has dispatched the ball to Woodcock, who in slight in stature just stabs through the Jedforest tacklers. Hasty is up on his feet now and acting as scrum half again. McGregor carries forward, and now Thompson, who is the most latest try scorer for Kelso in the first half. A reminder that 7 points, 19 to the good. Hasty passes to Patterson. Patterson then finds Barber. Barber's got some options outside him, opts not to use them, and just swaggers back in field. He's been defended well again, the lightning fullback. He's a tenacious little wiry fullback, but he's done well in this game so far. Now McGregor has just been kneecapped just short of the 22 and bundles over, and he's done well to present that ball back, because then Tate finds Hasty. Hasty finds Woodcock. Woodcock is now on the outside, looks to try and get the offload in, but not able to. Buckley is all over that ball. He then couched the ground, so he's got to stop that attempt to turn over that ball. Thompson, Ewan Thompson, is tackled on the 22-metre line. Then Logan spills the ball as he travels forward, and again building the phases. But Kelso knock the ball on and give the ball back to Jedforest. But 2 minutes into the second half, it shows that I think Kelso know that if they get the bonus point in the bag, they're home and hosed for the playoffs. We've still got 40 minutes in this game, but the way that the season's gone, I don't think many people will think that I'm naive in saying that the thought of a potential semi-final in the playoffs between Hawick and Kelso at Mansfield Park is for me, it could almost be bigger than the final. But the scrum has been turned over here against the head, and McNeil finds Tate. Tate's got Barber outside him and now looking to try and manipulate the space. He filters it to Tweedy, and Kelso go in for that bonus point try. There was a challenge in there, a little bit afters as well from Young, but the try has been awarded, and it was as easy as you like. But it's the pressure that comes on from that dominant forward pack. Turning over the ball against the head means that there's a space there for Tweedy to scorch in for a score. And the wingers have not scored a lot of tries so far this season, but they've both got on in the act this afternoon. And Robbie Tweedy gets his second try of the Premiership campaign.
He certainly has, and it was a good finish as well. He's still a bit of work to do, but you could chalk down probably an assist there to Terry Logan and young Angus McGregor in that front row, because they drove Jed right off the ball on Jed's own scrum, one against the head, and it's culminated in the try.
An impressive effort from the forwards there. And Kelso know that a bonus point victory here at Riverside Park now will consolidate their position in fourth place, and they will be looking and sizing up a away semi against Hawick for the Premiership crown. And who would have thought they would have been in that fight at the start of the season after 2 draws in the opening weekend. But Bruce McNeil from that driving maul charges forward. Buckley challenges him. Tate then finds Hasty. Hasty's got Patterson in support, looks to just throw it out the back door, but Robson takes it short and just flings himself into contact. Tate has got Brown coming round and peeling round the corner, offering himself up for a carry. And great engine this afternoon from Cammy Brown. Tate is shackled, can't get his feet, can't get up again. He's almost like Bambi on ice there, trying to find his feet again, but does well to secure the ball. McGregor charges forward. He's been supported by a couple of Kelso teammates. Cammy Thompson then picks and goes straight through the heart of the ruck, makes a good 5 yards. Tate is there quickly, but Hasty gets there quicker. Patterson sizes up, he throws the dummy, he weaves his way in and out of traffic, and Swan dives over underneath the Kinlan for a try. And it was great play, but perhaps you can give a round of applause there to Cammy Thompson, because he made the hard yards in the heart of the Jedforest defence, and perhaps put them at panic stations. And then when Patterson's got that footwork and that evasive play, it's difficult to try and shackle him so close to the Jedforest defensive line.
Great play by them both. Yeah, Thompson, Neil Hennigan said pre-game that he felt a wee bit aggrieved to be able to miss out against Curry last week, and he's looking to make his mark today. He certainly did so there, and that was just pure class from Patterson. The finish there, off one foot, off the other, under the sticks he goes, and he's having a wow of a game this afternoon, Patterson.
Don't think Riverside Park have seen footwork like that since Robin Purdie was playing here. And now Patterson to add the extras, and he does so as easiest conversion of the afternoon for the outside centre, and he adds the 2 points to his try, and 31 points to 7 now. Kelso are in the ascendancy. Elder loiters at the tunnel, taps the ball on the back of his front row, and then it charges forward. Fotheringham has to try and tidy up at the back because he's under immense pressure from that Kelso scrum, but also Nick Stingle, who's lurking in behind there. He's an ex-Jedforest player as well. Bowie, he gets his first carry and does well to break free through a couple of players there. Ewan Thompson and Asante were the two players waiting there for Kelso. They plugged the gaps in defence as Jedforest looked to try and exit. Elder was there. It was almost flat down there by Cammy Thompson, but it makes good ground, but well gathered there by Tweedy, and now he's going in towards the 22. Kelso now in the counter-attack, trying to punish that loose kick from Jedforest. Patterson thinks he spots some space on that far side. He stabs a kick across. Is the bounce of the ball going to be kind? It is. It's beautiful there from Patterson. He sweeps it across, and the bouncing ball is gathered by James Thompson, and he's at the double here at Riverside. He gets 2 scores, and Kelso extend their lead, 36 points to 7 now.
Looking really good now, Kelso. The party tricks coming out now. Dwayne Patterson there with the kick pass. That was a thing of beauty. Great assist from him. Takes a pat on the head from the try scorer Thompson, and they've just been so, last week as well, I was at their game last week, they've just been so impressive.
There's an offside coming their way. It's Skeldon to take it quickly. He charges forward, and he's been brought down a couple of metres shy of the line. Jedforest, and probably in the second half, they've not been as close to scoring a try as they are now.
Hands up,
Slowly but surely they're making their way closer and closer. Steadying the ship, then peeling round the corner, getting over the line, and the referee awards the score, and it is a try for Jedforest. After quick thinking from Clark Skeldon, they managed to get over the line, and the pats of the back are going to that man, the captain, Clark Skeldon. He's the last player to rise, and I think he's the player to get the try, and they were made to work really hard for it. But even from that scrappy line out from the penalty, they've kept Kelso down here under pressure, and they get their rewards. Stingle puts the ball into the scrum. It's been picked at the back by Cammy Brown. He does it, floats a lovely ball to Patterson. He passes it across to Barber. He checks his feet and gives it to Tweedy. Tweedy brushes off the challenge, then back in field, then almost over the whitewash, and he does get over the try line. Great footwork from the winger, and they're both at the double now. They've only both scored 1 try so far this season, Robbie Tweedy and James Thompson, and they've got 4 in this game, 2 apiece. And Kelso stretch their lead here again. They're now 41 points to 12 to the good.
And another brilliant finish from Tweedy. Mentioned before, in as much as they've not scored too many tries, Dale, they do add something, the wingers. They run hard and they create space.
Shrill of the whistle. Buckley sizing up his options. He taps the ball. He looked to give it to Bowie, but it's just opened up in front of him, and I think Bruce McNeil fancied a little bit of that, but he's went forward with Fotheringham. They've come together and clattered as Elder then gives it to Buckley. Buckley to Skeldon. Skeldon tips onto Hogg. The ball is ricocheted and catapulted into the sky, and waiting underneath it is Murray Hastie, and he goes underneath the post for a further score for Kelso. And out of nothing, they're underneath the sticks in impressive fashion. Yeah,
Murray Hastie, one of the unsung heroes, it seems at times in this Kelso team, but he's a very, very accomplished and calm player, and he's got a turn of pace as well, and he was only too happy to gobble that up and run that in under some of his own fans. And yeah, good player Murray Hastie, and deserved his try this afternoon.
Really impressive. Acting as his fly half, and sometimes having to squeeze in there as a scrum half as well, and it shows you the balance as Patterson just gets his right boot underneath that ball off the tee and over the uprights. 48 points to 12, and I think Kelso will be sniffing down that 50 mark. We've got 5 minutes left to play here. Kelso on their road to an impressive victory away from home at Riverside Park against Jedforest. Currently 12 points to 48. They lead. There's a scrum put into Jed, and you could argue as the clock just trundles towards that 40-minute mark that we are coming to the end of this game, but you could perhaps suggest that there might be further scoring. Jedforest certainly capable of scoring from well deep inside their own half, where they currently find themselves. Wardrop carries forward, and then Elder's under a bit of pressure, and then the forward foray from Cranston, who's starting to grow into the second half slightly. Elder now through the hands and tipped round the back there, and Buckley splinters through. He's been shackled, almost tries to offload, but Kelso players are good there to get round and put a bit of pressure on the Jed defence. Thompson somehow has emerged with the ball in hand, but the referee signalled that there's a penalty there for not releasing, so Cammy Thompson is penalised. The quick penalty taken by Fotheringham, then Skeldon charges forward over the halfway line now. Offload there tipped onto an early replacement, Robbie Thompson, and he hares forward now. Jedforest have broke free from their own 22 with relative ease, winning that penalty as well, which has helped their cause. Elder finds Bowie. Bowie charges forward. He's been brought to ground. Pedestrian pace, but he's perhaps that's the pace he likes to cause a bit of damage to. Robert Hogg knocks forward from the subsequent ruck, and the referee shrills his whistle and brings the game to a close, and it is a game which confirms Kelso's status as the fourth team into the playoffs. How the other teams above them will form in terms of where Curry and Mar sit matters not a jot to Kelso at this stage. They know they can book a bus for travelling to Mansfield Park. A very one-sided victory, but Kelso secure their place in the playoffs because it finishes here. Jedforest 12, Kelso 48.
Yeah, obviously we were really happy with that, but believe it or not, we want to push ourselves on further. We know we've got a big game at Hawks as well, and we've got 2 big weeks coming up, and we've not got a game next weekend, but we'll be down training and pushing. I don't think anybody believed we could get ourselves in that position, but we fully believed we could, and we've still got a job to do yet.
You have defied the critics a bit. You said, you came up from National League One. Nobody expected you to end up in 4th place and be, in with a chance of actually still winning the Premiership.
Yeah, obviously we're quietly confident in-house at Poynter. Things are going really well down at the club just now. I mean, I look around the crowd. There's a load of Kelso folk up there supporting us, and they're on the journey with us as well. I was quietly confident going up here today because, last season in National 1 we had 3 or 4 games that we had to win at the end of the season to go up. The absolute thriller at Highland 7-5 on a glorious day on the 3G pitch, but we just know ways to dog things out. We are critical on ourselves, but we'll also take some plaudits. But ultimately, as I say, we've still got a job to do.
One of the strengths of Kelso is the number of local players that are in the team. I think last week and probably this week, 14 of the 15 players were local lads. Yeah,
that's massive plaudits. I think that's been been around the club for a very long time, and as Stuart said, a bit of a veteran. We maybe didn't have that years ago, and we kind of lost our identity. We've massively got our identity now, and as development officer at the club, we've got a number of kids coming through, hopefully that can stick around the town, and it's a community game for us, and we've got to keep building the Kelso boys round about, adding to it as well. Guys like Bruce McNeil, Hugh Knox, who's been around the last 4 or 5 seasons, believe it or not. I think he's only about 22, 23, but he looks about 40. So, but there's some really good guys coming through, and as long as we're adding to the squad, as well as that youth and experience in there as well, we've got a really good balance.
What keeps you going, Murray, then? Because you've been with the club for a long number of years. What keeps you playing?
Just I think again seeing the youth come and play, and my job's made a hell of a lot easier nowadays with guys like Dwayne Patterson who can step in at first receiver. He loves to play. He's very noisy outside me, and that's something we talk about, that it's not just about me and old Andy Tate in there as well trying to control things. We want other people to add, and James Thompson's came in and had a little bit of knowledge and understanding, and we've got that grunt outside us. It's just great to play with some young boys. They keep you youthful, and yeah, it's just a pleasure to play with them.
You'll be very much looking forward then to the semi-final. It's a game against Hoyk at Mansfield Park.
Yeah, hopefully it goes a slightly different way to when we went there earlier in the season. It was almost like touch rugby at times there, but we are a better side. The league table shows you that. The games that we've played, Mar and Curry at home, dogging results out, getting the crowd behind us. I'd like to think again we'll have a massive crowd from Kelso coming to support us on the day, and as I say, I would say we're a different beast. If we get the nuts and bolts right, and we manage to get ball and we get opportunities, we've got to be clinical against Hoyk, and we know what they're bringing. They're very physical, really strong set piece. I think we're no far off matching that at times. It's going to be a tight game, and it's just great that we're in with a fight.
They're on a high right now. They had to win this game. Had to get the bonus point. They got it early on and they just kicked on for there. We couldn't match their physicality, but what can you expect when we're not getting boys training and that? It's just bringing boys like myself back. I've been out of the game for a wee while, and coming back to that, it was hard. But hey, fair play to Kelso. They've came out of nowhere, going down division a couple of years ago and coming back, and now they're pushing for a playoff, and there's no reason why if they play like that they can challenge certainly in the semi-finals. A
disappointing season for Jedforest because you are relegated to National League Division 1.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but we were up against it early on in the season, to be honest, and we're relying on boys, keeping fit. And boys just putting in that extra work. And we've had a couple of bad injuries, and a couple of injuries there maybe cost us early on. Losing Gregor Law, never a good sign. Losing Gregor Law, he's a big ball carrier, and then Gregor Young, 10 minutes in the second half or so, that was pretty costly, and we just lost shape. But hey, it is what it is. We've talked to the boys before the game. Look, we're down now, the pressure's off us. We knew we had to give Kelso a game today. So we're targeting border league games, we've got Peebles to play, Gala, Melrose. These are all teams that we're going to be playing next year. So we have to front up in these games. And then, we've still got Glasgow Hawks. Glasgow Hawks have to come down here. So again, another big target for us. So if we can get that win against the Hawks, at least we can finish the season on a little bit of a high, and then obviously the Sevens comes after that. So we'll take as it comes. But the key for us right now is keeping boys fit and keeping boys interested. It's good to be back amongst the boys and helped out before Christmas there, but last couple of weeks I've been struggling to make training dates. It's a bit harder for me, other commitments and that, but I'll do what I can to help the club out. I'll play any position, obviously. You've seen there I was in the back row, centre, winger, I can't remember what else, maybe prop, who knows, but I'm just here to help out and try and get a little bit buzz and a little bit experience more so. And these are the things that we will need, regardless of bringing on a young team next year. We will still need these experienced heads, but it's keeping the guys at the club that's going to be the key duties of the guys higher up. So we'll see what we're getting for there,
So we've not seen the last of Robert Hogg then?
No, we had a conversation with Lewis Young, we've still got about 20 plus games to go to get 250. If I can get 250, or if I can play until the age of 40, that's the target. But we'll see, we'll take every game as it comes, it's getting a lot more physical now. It's a little bit harder to recover now. So, but yeah, albeit the result, I just enjoyed being back in amongst it today. It wasn't the result we wanted, but we'll push on, we'll get back training, and we'll see what we can bring for Hawks, Peebles, Gala, Melrose, and see if we can get something positive out of that before the end of the 15th season.
So a win for Kelso means that 4th place is theirs, and they get to travel to Mansfield Park for that all-important playoff semi-final. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be off to Beveridge Park to watch Kirkcaldy play Peebles in National League Division 2. I hope you can join us then, but for now, cheerio.